Internet is like buttholes. They smell everywhere. Some people are like, oh man, this is awful. I can't believe this. And other people are like, oh man, this is the best Aliens movie ever. And guess what? It is neither. Is it a good movie? Yes. Do I think it's the best movie? No. I still think Alien and Aliens. The first two are top notch, but I would put this in right after it. Is it the absolute worst or something? No. And I know the thing that concerned me before, I did tell you guys about, that might have concerned you too. Some of the basic reviews I was reading initially before I got to go see it, people were like, okay, no spoiler review. As a warning going in, if you break the movie down into a few chapters, like 1, 2, and 3, the third chapter, the third arc, there is a plot element that will either make or break the movie for you. And as soon as they said that, I was like, bruh. I thought I was in for it. But I was actually delightfully surprised. There is something in the third act where they do take a chance. They do take a chance with something. It's different, but it's not bad. It's actually pretty interesting. And on top of this, one of the biggest things that I will give them props to is the prosthetics. One of the biggest mistakes with a lot of movies, Aliens included, is the overuse of CGI. One of the best things about a lot of older movies, the things that we loved, is you had real practical effects, you had prosthetics, you had puppeteers, and it was awesome. And if there's CGI, if there is, it's like icing on a cake. It's that layer on top, right? Exactly, that's what I feel like. Like, practical is best because there may come a point in civilization, you know, where Skynet takes over and they do all of our CGI for us and then they plug us into the Matrix or something. But until that point comes, you can tell, bro. You see things that just don't look quite right. And when stuff like that happens, it's bad. It's more bad than just like, oh, I know it's fake. Everybody knows it's fake, you're in a movie. The problem is that the way that it takes your brain out, because it gets close to kind of an uncanny valley feeling in your brain, it takes you out of the experience, which is a whole anti-immersion thing. Get a bidet internet. Listen, I don't even have a bidet for my butthole. How am I supposed to get a bidet for my internet? And it has been, yeah, that's correct. That's why, like, I'm trying to, I think it's a good comparison with Deadpool to some of the superhero movies and Aliens Romulus to a lot of the late, not just Alien movies, but property stuff in Aliens and Alien vs. Predator that have been released more recently. This is definitely something that has turned back towards the origin of it. They've kind of gone like back to their roots, and I think it pays off huge, bro. Practical's best. Puppet Yoda, greater than CG Yoda. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. That's exactly right, though. You are 100% right. And I think part of the problem was that I can forgive when it first started. I think we all could, right? Because this is what happens. Think of it this way. When George Lucas first created Star Wars, it's in what, like the 70s? Everything has to be practical. It was on an extreme budget. The whole thing almost fell apart. That film made it by the grace of God, the editing and people being able to help him part down to what it needed to be. A lot of luck and a lot of artistic freedom. What happened though is as computer technology started kind of like upgrading, it's like a toy. Now think of the first time you got to do something in like, I don't know, like Photoshop or something like that, and you have to use like every button you can find. That's kind of what happened with the prequels. Uh-oh. I got you, Spartan. Okay, driving home, almost there. Give it to me straight. Is it worth the watch? Going to watch it Sunday. I've seen no trailers, no pictures. I'm going in blind. First off, Spartan, thank you for the 100 biddies. One more, last warning, guys. Last warning. I do have sound alerts, TTS stuff off, just so it's a little bit easier for us to talk with each other today. Yes. If you want me to too long, didn't read it, pare it down for you. Is it worth the watch? Is it worth going to a movie theater? Yes. 100%. 100%. you guys know how I'm a judgmental little angry feisty cat, and I'm like, no, I hate this, I hate that, that's awful, why would you do it this way? You know, I tell you that you're completely wrong, and I ask you why you're boring. But this movie, it's worth it. I would go to a movie theater, I would buy popcorn, get a slushie, maybe some Sour Patch Kids, and probably some napkins. Deadpool Wolverine is one of the highest rated movies of all time. It made history, and it's only been a month. It's like the old saying goes, lead by example and others will follow. That's it, bro. That is 100% it. And here's one of the things I was talking about a little bit before. Now, the stuff with like prosthetics and everything like that, not only do they go back to using that, but they do it really well. Now, is all of it perfect? No. The alien, I would say the alien itself that you see in the film, that is freaking amazing. I've seen other people that have done some reviews of it, have already seen the movies or seen the movie, and have commented that you can tell that they were really, really proud of the alien. They were proud of their model of the xenomorph, how it looked, because they spend a lot of time on it. Whereas in earlier movies, a lot of times in horror movies in general, when there's a monster, it'll be very, very dark. The shots will be very, very quick, sometimes blurred, obscured, and stuff like that, just so you can't see kind of like the smaller flaws in it. But this is something where they did so well on the alien itself. They could hold the camera frame on it, pan around this sucker, and it looks good. It's like, damn, girl, you look good from all angles. Practical effects is theater, and computer effects is cartoons. Sort of. The thing with it is this. Your best results usually come from a combination of both. If you have a practical effect, the same goes for Blade Runner and the Blade Runner sequel, which was also very good. It's actually a perfect example of going back to the source, being truthful to the original material, and looking correct, because everything in there had a practical effect. You have puppets, you have miniatures, which means like when you're going through that giant city and seeing everything and you see the huge seawall and all this different stuff, the base of that is actually a built miniature. They built a city, a giant, crazy cyberpunk city. And then on top of that is little tweaks. They tweak stuff with the CGI, which is exactly what it should be used for. If I remember correctly, George Lucas's wife was masterful at editing, say, for Star Wars 2. Correct. In case anybody didn't know, the original Star Wars was actually kind of a mess. Because if you've ever seen Star Wars and seen the movie Willow, it was basically all of that. I can already picture it. Little Willow running around, a little bit of Mad Mardigan, tiny lightsabers everywhere. You should actually go see it and not pack. No, I wouldn't. Honestly, think of it this way. I 100% would give my money to go and actually watch this. Do not pirate this. I repeat, do not pirate this. And the reason? You need to support it. If you have something that they do that is finally good, the only way that you get the result that you want as a consumer is to pay them. If you go, hey, I think this is worth it, this is a good experience, they see numbers and metrics go up, then they pay attention. They don't care what you say. They don't care what people post on Twitter. They don't care about your polls. They don't care about anything else. What they care about is wiggle your fingers, rub them together, make the little money sign. That's what you need to do. And think of all the crap that you spend money on that is absolutely worthless. This is 100% worth it. Yeah, the practical effects, it's just amazing. Now, on the other side, to be a little bit critical, there are some areas where, still non-spoiler, there are some areas where they went a little bit too heavy on the CGI. Or they used it in a way I thought they could have used a little bit better. For the most part, it's in small places like patches. It's not something consistent through the movie overall. The acting was actually also good. And my favorite character is actually an android. I'm gonna go see it instead of sailing. Yes, do not sail the seas. Save your sailing for later. The part where they had Redacted's face. Yes! Bro, you called me. You called it, yo. You called it. It has to be exceptionally worth a visit to the physical theater. 100%. I'm not somebody that likes theaters to begin with, and I'm even worse now. And I'm like, my mom, my whole family was gonna go see the movie, and I was like, I really want to see it. And I'm allowed to be outside because like I'm getting better and stuff like that. And I was like, please, I want to go. And she's like, you really shouldn't go. You should rest and stuff like that. And I was like, I want to go see it. I was literally to the point where I was gonna stow myself away into the family car. So they finally relented. So I got to go see it. And if I can do that, I think you guys could chuck out a couple bucks to go see the movie. Who allowed that cat girl outside? I have a cat door, bro. Bajin, what is up, yo? Big surprise, robot character. Robot cat girl likes the android. I know, right? All right, bros. Before I move on to part two, in case there's anybody that needs earmuffs, do any of you guys have any questions about any specifics of things that I've talked about so far that are non-spoiler? Like, do you want to know about a specific aspect? The story is pretty good. The setting is good. The CGI for the most part is good because it's paired mostly with practical effects. Oh, the technology also done very well. It's you're not looking at like Elon Musk, like super like slick, like future technology looking stuff. It's the same old aliens, like chunky 70s technology where buttons are the size of like a child's fist. What movie are y'all talking about? We're talking about Aliens Romulus, yo. Bolted shut? Nah, bro. Should I play the game first? Just in case a little lore Easter eggs? No. There are some Easter eggs. Let me put it this way. There's visual Easter eggs and there's verbal audio Easter eggs. Things you'll hear, quotes and stuff like that. Sometimes it even got a little bit much. Like, you know how then they're like, they do like a member berry thing in movies and like a couple of them and you're like, okay, yeah, haha, that's funny. But then when they keep doing it, you're like, oh, okay. Oh, okay. I get it. No. I got it the first 7 times. Do the generals stay true to the existing lore? Yes. Yes. The third act is the part that has reference to something that is not outside the lore, and actually I can explain in more detail as soon as we get into part 2, which will be momentarily.